What's up guys, my name is Ace, and just in case you haven't noticed yet, we have two brand new guns in Infinite Warfare. These ones came as quite a surprise. These guns are the G-Rail, which is an assault rifle, and the Stallion 44, which is a pistol. So today we're going to be going over briefly what these guns are all about, as well as the patch notes for today. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so let's hop right into the guns, because that's probably what you're here for. We have the G-Rail as well as the Stallion 44, like I said. Keep in mind that I'm going over a very basic sort of how they behave, how to use them properly right now. I will be going into much more detail on the stats and everything in the near future, sometime within the next week or so. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel for that one. This is more so just basically how to use them, because they do have some weird quirks to them. They're not just a straight up full auto or semi-auto type gun, especially the G-Rail. The G-Rail has a really cool characteristic that we haven't seen before, I don't think ever in COD. I could be mistaken, maybe I'm forgetting a gun from like Advanced Warfare or something. But with this one, it is technically a ballistic weapon, but it's electromagnetically propelled bullets. And the way this works is when you first aim down sight, if you just start firing, it's a semi-auto gun. And it's got quite a high fire rate as well for a semi-auto. I would say it's very viable to just use in this way, where you just run around, snap on a target, and just semi-auto fire them to death. The quirk with this, and the thing that makes this pretty neat, is if you aim down sight for a period of time, which again, that's the kind of thing I'll be looking at when I go into a lot more detail with this, is like how long you have to aim down sight for. But you can actually hear when it fully charges up. It will charge, and once it's fully charged, it will have a one-shot kill potential. Now, I don't believe that one-shot kill potential is like across the map or anything. I think it's about out to mid-range based on my experience with it so far, which is fairly limited. But if you pre-aim somebody like that, you can one-shot kill them. This is a really interesting design. Like I said, haven't seen this before. So far, I think I might need to just get used to it, or I need to unlock a few more attachments for it. I've only played a few games with it so far because it just came out. But so far, I feel like that charging actually gets me killed more often than if it wasn't there in the first place. If I were to just use this gun as a semi-auto, I think I'd be much better off, because there's so many times where I'm hesitating, trying to wait for that charge, and I get myself killed for it. Or I camp for way too long trying to pre-aim something, nobody comes, and then of course you get that Call of Duty timing. The moment you move your feet, the guy comes around the corner and you get yourself killed. So you can definitely use it to charge up. If you know somebody's going to be coming around a corner, you can charge it up, get that one-shot kill, or you can just run around, use this as a high fire rate semi-auto, which, by the way, I'm extremely excited to see a high fire rate semi-auto in the game, or at least higher fire rate than we've seen so far, even though it doesn't seem to do the most amount of damage when you are using it in the semi-auto way. But very excited to use this gun a little bit more and get a better feel for it and share more information as the week goes by. As for the pistol, this is the Stallion 44. The Stallion 44 is a revolver, and this one's a little bit quirky in the sense that when you're aiming down sight, it has a slower fire rate. And that fire rate is quite slow. It's the kind of thing where if somebody's at a distance and they're not really paying attention to you, maybe they're busy with someone else or you're just taking them off guard, then it's worth it to aim down sight, because this is quite a high damage pistol. It kills in 2 shots out to a somewhat decent range. Again, we're going to be looking at that later on in the week. But the cool thing with this gun is when you hip fire it, you fire at a significantly faster fire rate. Now, you can't spam it as fast as like the Kendall or the EMC or anything like that, but you can shoot it very noticeably faster than when you're aiming down sight. And therefore, at close quarters, this thing is excellent. I can't wait to unlock the akimbo mode for this, as well as the laser sight. I think it's going to be great for that, but a little too early for me to tell at this point, because I have to jump on top of this video as fast as possible. This one seems like a very viable secondary for close quarter situations, just because you can spam those 2 shots really quickly, and as long as you're close enough that you don't feel you're going to miss with your hip fire, you can definitely drop people very, very fast with this Stallion. Now, in addition to that, with these patch notes, there were a few other fixes and things that I just want to kind of gloss over a little bit here. We've got some new calling cards, new camos, weapon accessories, and gestures. None of that stuff really appeals to me. I don't really know about any of them, and honestly, I don't really care about any of those sorts of things. Maybe there's going to be a camo or something that blows my mind, but aside from that, I'm not too interested in that kind of stuff. And then we got a bunch of fixes. So there was a fix for the Proteus and the ERAD shotgun alternates not tracking towards contract challenges. So basically, if you put them in their shotgun modes, then they just weren't really working. They also fixed a bunch of bugs that you probably haven't noticed before. With some of them, it's like there was hybrid sights on SMGs. They would lose their hipfire reticles in certain situations. I personally have never experienced that before, but maybe you guys have. One of the big things here, though, and this means a lot for the people that are potentially looking at spending 30 keys on the variant, especially the variant for this week for the summer hacks, which is the Proteus Ice. They have now allowed players to gain access to the M2187 Limbo, as well as the Proteus Ice, via supply drop, and allow for that variant to unlock the base weapon as well. This is actually pretty big news, because it was looking like if you missed out on their week of supply drops, then you would never be able to get that variant. It turns out you can now get lucky and just get them out of any random supply drop, and I think that's great, because it didn't look like we were going to get an alternate variant like we're going to be getting with the Volk Retro, which is called the Volk Vintage. So now we will have an opportunity to get that if you miss out on them for these days of summer. Now, aside from that, that was pretty much everything that was within this patch that we know about so far. It looks like there has been a little bit of leaked stuff from data miners. They have made a lot more progress on the next set of guns that's going to be coming out, and it looks like potentially a melee weapon or two. But I'm not going to go into great detail with that. We don't know enough about that yet. But there was some stuff that went in there behind the scenes that will eventually be activated in the future. And with that, we're going to wrap up today's quick video. I'd like to know in the comment section below, what do you guys think so far about the G-Rail as well as the Stallion 44? Do you prefer to use the G-Rail just in its standard semi-auto mode, or do you like to charge that up? And same thing with the Stallion. Do you prefer hip firing that thing, or do you like going for those precise shots while aiming down sight? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.